Hey, what's up? What's going on out there? Somebody just sent me this video talking about whether or not Gary Coleman's death was accidental. Now, those of you who know, Gary Coleman was a big star during the 80s with the show Different Strokes, which was a big show, but he couldn't quite grow out of that role as Arnold. But I'm gonna give my 1-2 and see what they're talking about.
He will forever be known for that catchphrase from Different Strokes. What you talk about, Willis? Now,
I'm sorry, y'all. Like, she couldn't wait to say that one.
actor Gary Coleman is being remembered in an upcoming documentary that reveals nearly 15 years after he died at age 42, there is still mystery about his death.
Gary Coleman was once the highest paid child actor in America.
I've never seen a black goldfish before.
That's okay. He never saw a rich white man before either.
Gary Coleman was a fool. I didn't know he was the highest paid young actor at that time. Well, it's just sad how his life went. I know he sued his parent over some royalties and stuff like that, and it seems like he never got right after that.
But after Different Strokes came to an end after 8 years, his life went into a tragic tailspin. Coleman's story is being retold in Gary, a new documentary streaming on Peacock next week. And what a story it is. At 30, he was virtually broke working on a movie set, not as a star, but as a security guard.
Like, I'm sorry too. I was just thinking about when Dave Chappelle was mimicking Gary Coleman as a security guard. I mean, Dave Chappelle's a fool for that one. That was a funny skit.
He leaped on the hood of this car, claiming the occupants were trespassing.
Man, what are you doing? Oh, get the off the car!
In 2007, he married Shannon Price, who was just 22. They told Inside Edition the relationship was tempestuous.
I don't like the violence. I really don't.
I don't either.
No surprise.
Yo, they just in there beating each other ass. That's what it sounded like to me.
They divorced in 2008. But Shannon was at their Utah home 2 years later when he suffered a fatal fall. She made this dramatic 911 call.
Her head is bloody. There's blood all over the floor. I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened.
The story that she gives is that he fell down a flight of stairs and hit his head, and she saw him in a pool of blood. She didn't want to touch him because she didn't want to be blamed for his death.
Gary was taken off life support 2 days later. His friend and former co-star Todd Bridges tells Inside Edition today that was too soon.
He had told us he wanted, if something happened, he wanted the chance to be able to make it back. The kid was a fighter. I believe he could have made it back from that.
Do you think the investigation was incomplete or poorly done?
I believe it was poorly done.
Authorities ruled his death an accident. Just weeks before his death, Gary hobbled into the Inside Edition studio using a cane for what turned out to be his poignant final interview. He had just been released from the hospital after suffering a seizure. He tried to reassure his fans.
I've had seizures before, and I'll probably have seizures again. And it's no worries. I'm not dying.
At the time of his death in 2010, Gary Coleman's net worth was just $75,000.
Wow, I didn't know that. But, I'm going to check out the documentary, see what they're talking about. It's probably going to be really, really good. Like I said, his parents took money from him. And after the show went off, it pretty much was downhill from there for him, And I know a lot of those childhood actors go through things like that. After their show ends, it's kind of like they're in the whirlwind. They don't know what's up from what's down. And it's just dealing with like a lot of outside stuff, where people expect them to be like in that kiddie role forever. And it's like a few people that can transition out of that, but for most, it seems like they just get stuck and get typecast in that role. But like I said, I'm going to check out the documentary and, peace be with Gary. And that's my 1-2.